Think you know how the Terminator made Schwarzenegger a legend? These secrets will make you see Arnie's rise and this sci-fi classic in a whole new light. Fact 1.
So, which will it be?
All.
You can't do that.
Wrong.
When James Cameron first offered Schwarzenegger a role, Arnold wasn't supposed to be the killing machine. Cameron actually wanted him to play Kyle Reese, the human hero who saved Sarah Connor. Arnold thought it was a bad idea. He told Cameron he didn't see himself as a normal guy with a gun. During their lunch meeting, Arnie kept talking about how the villain should move, act, and feel unstoppable. Cameron realized Arnold was describing the Terminator better than he'd ever imagined. Midway through the meeting, Cameron said, "You shouldn't be the hero. You should be the Terminator." Arnold hesitated. He thought playing a silent killer would limit him as an actor. His agent hated the idea, saying it would ruin his image as a leading man. Arnold ignored him. He said the villain's role would steal the movie if done right. Cameron agreed and rewrote the script to lean into Arnie's physical presence. Arnold only has 17 lines of dialogue in the whole movie. Every movement was choreographed like a robot learning to be human. He studied lizards, snakes, and mechanical toys for inspiration. The blank stare and robotic head turns were Arnold's ideas. He trained to load and reload guns blindfolded, just to look machine perfect. Looking back, Arnold said it was the smartest decision he ever made. Playing the villain turned him into an icon overnight. Sometimes the fewest words create the loudest legend. The role no one wanted became the one everyone remembers. And it proved you don't need pages of lines to dominate the screen. Fact 2. Schwarzenegger knew that being believable as a killing machine meant no slip-ups. So he trained with real firearms experts for weeks before filming. He learned to disassemble, reload, and fire every weapon he'd use without looking. He wanted every motion to feel cold and programmed. Arnold spent hours in front of mirrors practicing his aim and reloads. He taped his fingers together to limit hand movement, mimicking a mechanical grip. Gun expert and armorer Thel Reed helped him perfect the over-the-shoulder reload. It looked so unnatural that people believed the character was literally built for killing. Cameron shot multiple takes just to capture the cold efficiency. Arnold's intense training made his gunplay iconic. He even practiced shooting with both hands, switching mid-scene. He refused to flinch at gunfire, real or fake. Crew members said he could handle a shotgun smoother than some stuntmen. The blank expression and robotic posture came from these drills. He worked out every muscle twitch to look intentional. In the police station massacre scene, he performs without blinking during muzzle flashes. It terrified extras who were nearby. Arnold said it was harder than any bodybuilding routine. It required patience and absolute focus. His machine-like gun work inspired countless future action heroes. Fans still analyze his posture in frame-by-frame breakdowns. It proves that true menace is all in the tiny details, and it made Schwarzenegger's Terminator feel real and unstoppable. Fact 3. The Terminator's black sunglasses are legendary, but they weren't always in the script. Originally, Cameron didn't think the cyborg needed them, but on set, they realized Arnold's prosthetic eye makeup looked too fake under bright lights. The special effects team struggled to hide wires around his eye socket. Someone suggested covering it up with shades. Arnold loved the idea. It made the character feel more menacing. They tried different pairs until they found the wraparound gargoyle glasses. Those cheap mirrored lenses instantly made the Terminator iconic. They reflected neon lights perfectly in the club scenes. The shades also hid subtle makeup flaws that would ruin the illusion. Cameron redesigned shots to highlight the reflection in the lenses. When Arnold enters tech noir, the audience sees themselves in the killer's eyes. It doubled the sense of cold, unstoppable pursuit. Merchandise sales for wraparound sunglasses exploded after the film. Arnold has joked that those shades made him cooler than any muscle ever could. He kept multiple pairs from the shoot as souvenirs. He still brings them out at conventions as fan service. Future sequels made the shades a permanent part of the Terminator's look. Other movies started copying it for villain characters, all because of a quick fix for a makeup problem. Sometimes the greatest style statements come from accidents, and those shades cemented Arnold as the baddest thing walking down LA's streets. Fact 4.
Nice night for a walk, eh?
Nice night for a walk.
Wash day tomorrow. Nothing clean, right?
Nothing clean, right?
When Arnold first read the script, he thought he needed to deliver lines like a regular actor. James Cameron said no. The fewer words, the better. Arnold practiced speaking like English wasn't his native tongue. He flattened his accent even more to sound emotionless. He repeated each line hundreds of times into a tape recorder. He focused on eliminating contractions. "I will be back" instead of "I'll." Cameron corrected him. "No, it's I'll be back." Arnold argued it didn't sound robotic enough. Cameron won that fight, but Arnold shaped the rest. He shortened lines where possible. He asked for any unnecessary words to be cut. For "fuck you, asshole," he insisted it should be said completely deadpan. When the punks in the alley hear it, it lands like a programmed response. Arnold even worked with dialect coaches to hold the same monotone pitch. He hated ADR but re-recorded lines to strip out any natural inflection. Crew members said the sound booth sessions were intense. He'd stand for hours repeating "Sarah Connor" in the same icy tone. The final effect made every line sound like code. It turned a simple villain into something otherworldly. Years later, that flat delivery is still quoted worldwide. Schwarzenegger proved less really is more, and the voice made him as terrifying as the guns he carried. Fact 5. One of the most shocking parts of the Terminator is when the cyborg's eyebrows burn off after a car explosion. That wasn't just a makeup effect. Arnold actually risked his real brows to get it right. Special effects artists built a rig that created a controlled fireball near his face. He agreed to do it without a full stunt double because close-ups needed his real eyes. They coated his eyebrows with a protective gel, hoping to prevent damage. They rehearsed the timing over and over. Arnold held his breath and leaned into the flame at exactly the right moment. He later joked he could feel every hair singeing as it happened. Cameron captured the shot in just one take. The crew applauded, but rushed to check his face for burns. He spent an hour in the makeup chair afterward to make the scorched skin look realistic. Some hair did burn, but Arnold said it was worth it. He thought it added to the unstoppable look. A machine that didn't care about pain or damage. Afterward, he had to walk around LA for weeks with patchy brows while filming pickup shots. Fans who saw him in public thought he was in an accident. He told them he'd been fighting the future. Arnold loved telling this story because it proved how far he'd go for realism. It showed his dedication wasn't just about big muscles. It was about tiny details too. Years later, stunt crews still cite that moment as a perfect example of old-school practical effects. No CGI flames, no digital tweaks. Just a real man facing real fire. And it made the Terminator's burned look feel terrifyingly real. Sometimes you have to lose a few hairs to make Hollywood history. And for Arnold, every scorched brow was worth it. Fact 6. Before the Terminator, Arnold was mostly known for his bodybuilding titles and Conan the Barbarian. He was hungry to break out of the muscle man stereotype, so he used his fame in the fitness world to market the movie for free. He did photo shoots in his cyborg costume for muscle magazines. He gave interviews about the training required to become the Terminator. Fans who normally wouldn't care about sci-fi lined up just to see Arnie's new look. He even did public appearances at gyms wearing leather jackets and shades. Sometimes he'd say, "I am the Terminator. Come see me in action." Studio execs didn't pay him extra for this grassroots marketing, but they credited him for helping the film build buzz with young men. He saw it as an investment in his future. Arnold knew the bigger the box office, the bigger his next paycheck. He learned how to handle the press like a pro. He balanced the killer machine image with his real-life charm. Reporters loved the contrast. This scary villain was so polite in person. He kept calling himself a student of show business. It paid off when the Terminator became a sleeper hit. The film earned over $78 million worldwide on a tiny budget. Arnold's face was suddenly on posters everywhere. Bodybuilding fans felt proud to see one of their own take over Hollywood. And he proved muscles could sell more than just fitness products. Sometimes your best weapon isn't the gun, it's your grin. Fact 7. Arnold loved staying in character between takes. One night during filming, he walked into a restaurant in full Terminator makeup. His metal eye was exposed and fake blood dripped down his face. He didn't realize they'd forgotten to remove the bullet holes from his leather jacket. Patrons took one look and screamed. The manager almost called the cops, thinking there'd been an accident. Arnold calmly ordered a steak, pretending nothing was wrong. He thought it would help him practice moving stiffly like a machine. When he spoke, he kept his voice flat and emotionless. One waiter dropped a tray after Arnold said thank you, without blinking. James Cameron heard about it and laughed. He encouraged Arnold to keep experimenting. It wasn't the only time he freaked people out. On another night shoot, a driver saw him standing alone under a streetlight and almost crashed. Arnold realized how believable his look was. He told the makeup team they'd nailed it. The metal eye was so convincing that kids on set were afraid to look at him. Arnold leaned into it, staying still until they got closer, then turning his head like a robot. He said these moments helped him feel like the Terminator off camera. It gave him confidence that audiences would buy the illusion. It also taught him that sometimes scaring people means you're doing your job right. Years later, he still tells fans how fun it was to be the monster in real life. Sometimes the best method acting happens when no one's watching. Fact 8. Arnold didn't want the Terminator to look like just another muscle-bound brute. He wanted a machine with no wasted bulk. To keep his physique perfect, he trained at odd hours during the shoot. Filming often went late into the night, so Arnold would hit the gym at 3 or 4 a.m. His hotel's tiny fitness room wasn't enough. He'd sneak into local gyms and ask for the keys. He lifted alone in the dead of night, blasting music in his headphones. Sometimes crew members would spot him doing curls between scenes. His workouts were shorter but intense. Heavy compound lifts, low reps. He kept his body fat low to make the leather jacket fit just right. The costume team said the jacket looked like a second skin on him. Arnold ate a super strict diet during filming. Chicken, steak, and protein shakes. No sugar, no junk food, even though the shoot was exhausting. He wanted every angle of the Terminator to look intimidating. When he takes off his sunglasses and you see the veins in his arms, that's real, not prosthetic. Crew members said he never complained about the grind. He said, "The machine never gets tired." Staying shredded kept his confidence high on set. It proved he was more than a pretty face. He was a force of nature. And when audiences saw him, they believed that no human could stop him. Sometimes it's the discipline off camera that makes you legendary on it. Fact 9. One of the coolest images from the Terminator franchise is Arnie riding a bike like it's an extension of his body. But he didn't grow up riding motorcycles in Austria. He had to learn from scratch and fast. Arnold trained with professional stunt riders for weeks. They taught him how to mount, start, and balance the massive Harley-Davidson with robotic precision. He practiced tight turns and sudden stops to match the machine-like movements. In some early takes, he looked too human. They made him practice again. The weight of the shotgun while riding made it even trickier. He rehearsed loading the shotgun one-handed while steering. Cameron wanted it to look like the bike was part of the Terminator's programming. Arnold insisted on doing the riding shots himself whenever possible. Insurance companies were furious. It was risky, but he pushed back. Crew members watched him circle the lot for hours, repeating the same moves. He'd get off, watch the playback, and adjust his posture. He even practiced riding in full leather and sunglasses at night, almost blind. When the camera rolled, he nailed every angle. Fans still call the bike scenes some of the coolest in science fiction. Years later, Arnold still rides Harleys at charity events. He says he owes his biker confidence to those grueling lessons. It's proof that the smallest stunts can become the most iconic images. And for the Terminator, the bike became part of his legend. Fact 10.
I'll be back.
The line that made Arnold immortal, "I'll be back," almost came out completely different. In the script, it was just a throwaway line Cameron wrote in minutes. Arnold hated how it sounded. He argued with Cameron about making it "I will be back" to sound more robotic. Cameron fought him on it, insisting the contraction was catchier. Arnold said it felt too casual for a cyborg. They went back and forth until Cameron finally said, "Just trust me." On set, Arnold tried both versions, but "I'll be back" got the biggest laugh from the crew. It stuck. Arnold thought nobody would remember it, just a simple threat before crashing the police station. When the movie came out, audiences went wild for it. People started repeating it to him on the street. Arnold leaned into it during press tours. He even made it his signature line in later movies. It became a promise to fans. No matter how many times you kill the Terminator, he'll always return. Arnold says it's the best mistake he ever argued about. Cameron loves telling the story, saying it shows how the tiniest words can become legend. Without that line, Arnie might have just been another 80s action guy. With it, he became a pop culture icon. Now it's quoted by presidents, parodied in cartoons, and stamped on t-shirts worldwide. Sometimes the smallest line is the hardest to deliver, and the right line can make you live forever.